Today in VR, happy PlayStation VR 2 launch week. We go through all of the reviews and all of the positive praises that keep coming out of games media outlets and just general news outlets as well. Elsewhere, Gorillaz comes to SynthRiders, which I am absolutely stoked about. And also, Vermillion now allows you to paint in Half-Life Alyx and pretty much any Steam VR app out there. All that and more, so let's talk Oculus. Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 76. I'm your host, as always, Dan from Playtest VR, and I'm joined by my co-host, Samson. How are things going with you?
Hello. Things are going well. Got my hands on a MetaQuest Pro a little bit this weekend, and yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. I forgot about that. We gotta talk about that. Obviously, we are in PlayStation VR 2 launch week, so we'll be talking a little bit about that. But then I got a message on Twitter from a friend of the show. And he says with I'm paraphrasing here because I didn't write it down, but he said with all the PSVR 2 talk that I've been doing is he feels betrayed. It feels betrayed. But I was like, I promise, the next week or two will be obviously PSVR 2 will have a big feature, but I'm sure as the hype dies down, we'll get back to more Quest. But we have a bit of a mixture today. Samson, how you been doing in VR this week? You've been outside the Quest Pro, but have you been playing anything in particular?
I played some Walkabout with my friend's kid. I got in some Iron Man VR finally.
Mm-hmm. How's that?
And then pretty good. Played the first level. I had heard the first level was the best, so I made sure to play the tutorial and through the first level.
The first level's the one on the airplane, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Nice. How did you find the flying and such?
I struggle flying as Iron Man, honestly. I mean, generally pretty good. Going down, I struggle. Can't. My brain don't work that way.
Yeah, that's fair. You're just not Tony Stark.
I imagine I could get used to it eventually, but yeah, by the time I definitely had not perfected it through the first level.
Yeah, I definitely recommend spending a bunch of time in the training grounds, in the, just outside in the gardens or whatnot, where you can fly around and try and get into
time trial.
Time trial, that's it, where you go through the rings and try and do bombs and such.
I did all right with that. Like I got the golds or 3 stars or whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
It gets some getting used to. It takes some getting used to, and also trying to do like a one-hand flying while shooting with your other hand. It does take skill. It does take skill. It does take skill. But did it live up to the hype, what everyone's been saying?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I really wanted to see if it was like a game I could throw someone in new to VR.
Yeah,
I think it is.
I think definitely if you want to replay the tutorial or something, right?
If they're a Marvel fan, I think that's might be the go-to.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, definitely. What else are you playing?
I went by the VR arcade a bit more this week.
The Bubbler?
Yep, the Bubbler in Providence. And one kid that came by, he was selling cookies. He sold enough cookies to buy his own Quest 2. So go that kid.
Wow. Yeah, big ups that kid. Wow. That's a lot of cookies. How much do cookies go for nowadays?
Honestly, I don't know. I didn't ask him because I wasn't trying to buy a cookie. But he said in the video, it took him only 3 days of selling cookies.
How much is he selling his cookies for? Like what? Quest in the US is $400, right? $399. Yeah, $400. Not counting taxes. Probably say
Let's
450.
say he's selling these cookies for $3 or three or $4, and he's probably getting a profit of, I have no idea, $1.50, $2 on each one, I imagine.
Well, yeah, so
I don't know.
let's just keep the math okay. Let's just say $2. He's selling 200, he sold 200 boxes of cookies in 3 days.
No, they're not boxes, they're individual cookies.
Oh, just
It's
individual
200
cookies.
cookies. Yeah. They're pretty
Wow.
big cookies. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought they were like the Girl Scout kind of cookies.
No, no, no. That would be normally sold by Girl Scouts.
That's true. But there's not a thing that we used to do in the UK. That's not really, you didn't really, I don't even, maybe Girl Scouts, maybe, I don't know, but there's just not a thing.
I mean, I haven't seen that many kids selling cookies. That's for sure. It was new
Yeah.
to me. But I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe he's just an
Yeah,
entrepreneurial
maybe, is
type
he
of kid.
baking these
Yeah.
cookies himself or like more power to him? But he bought his first
I
Quest.
don't think he's baking them. I think they were wrapped, but he might be buying them in bulk. I don't know. Maybe he's getting them illicitly. I didn't ask
Just
questions,
off the
Steve.
back of the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
How old's the kid? Like 12 or something like that? Like roughly?
I can't tell. He's very short.
He's just a very short kid. Okay, fair
He's
enough.
really
No,
short. Yeah, but he was probably, I don't know, if I had to guess, 13 to 15.
13 and 15. Well, big ups to him and getting the first Quest 2 for himself. One of my friends actually in Toronto, he messaged me the other day and he wanted to get in the VR scene. And he asked me what to get, and we kind of were talking about the place. He has a PS5, but we went Quest
So
2.
easy.
Went
You went
Quest 2.
Quest 2. That's
Yeah, went
bold.
Quest 2. I told him, I said, just remember. The thing is, the thing that was a deal breaker for him, well, not a deal breaker, but the thing that was like, okay, Quest 2 is going to be the one. He said he might want to dabble into like developing or having a look at how to develop on the system because he has a comic book. It's called The City. If anyone's into comic books, it's called The City. And you can you can read The City online for free. They're not sponsoring us, but
But
he's a friend.
but you could develop for the PlayStation.
Yeah, but I think it's easier for him to connect the Quest 2 to a PC and, boot it through Unity and test it out. I think with I'm not sure how it works with developing on the PlayStation VR, but I feel like there'll be a few more hoops to jump through to try and get developer access or developer settings or something like that.
You could just use you to test it, man.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Also at the same time, he bought a used Quest. So I don't know how much he spent, but he obviously, you're spending top dollar
It
if
was
you buy
cheaper
that
than
VR.
550.
It's way cheaper than whatever the PlayStation VR. Yeah, for 550, it's way cheaper than that. So yeah. But yeah, he went for Quest 2. I just told him, I said, look, you just gotta remember that Quest 3 is coming out at the end of the year. And he was like, I'm just gonna keep this, buy it used, and then just buy the Quest 3. And he went straight in. He said the Climb 2 was his first game that he played.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting, right? But the Climb 2 was the first game. I was
That's a
gonna
good
ask you,
one.
I was
That's a
gonna
very
ask
beautiful game.
it is beautiful. Yeah, it's a good one to showcase what you can do, and climbing is quite fun. But I was gonna ask you, you mentioned you're playing a bit of walkabout and such. What what course would you recommend for someone who's never played it before? Would you just put them straight in the first one? Or do you normally
I mean, I
yeah.
I I don't know that it matters much. I would do a non-DLC one so that they can find balls.
I would also thought that some of the DLC ones become a little bit too advanced because there's so much going on. No?
Yeah, but I feel like you can figure them out. I feel like
Yeah.
if you've done mini golf, you can figure them out. Well, all right, it depends. If I'm playing with a kid, probably, yeah, I start with the tourist trap automatically because
Hmm.
it is just like easiest. But an adult, I feel like they could figure out where the pins are
Mm.
easier.
Mm. Yeah, because I'm thinking of putting. I was about to put someone into VR for the first time over the weekend, but we just never got around to it. So probably try and do it next
I,
week.
I will say, so I played with this kid in August,
Right, right.
and he learned how to read since then. And that made it way easier for getting through menus and getting in the game together.
Okay, this is no kid to be fair. This is a grown adult at 28 years old. So I think maybe
No,
anything.
I was talking about me and Walkabout.
Okay. See, right. I see. Um, yeah. So I was just wondering, well, maybe I'll just throw him in tourist trap first, just to get used to it, like for maybe 3 to 6 holes or something like that, and then
I
throw him
mean,
into something more.
you could just go into practice mode, or you could just hang out in Welcome Island and practice there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, I was just wondering. I was like, what good? I want to show him. I want to show him the cool new DLC kind of courses, but then I also don't want to give him too much straight away. So yeah, maybe I'll give him the easy one first, and then go. Okay, let's jump into maybe Atlantis because the newest one.
Yeah, that's when I helped him with this kid, and he accidentally learned how to fly,
Oh
and so
yeah,
he just started swimming around. He was loving it. He's like,
yeah.
"Whoa, look at Hammerhead! Oh, whoa, the turtle! Look how big that whale is!" He was loving it, except he didn't own the course, so he couldn't find the balls. And then he was like,
Yeah.
"Let's do one where I can find the balls."
Yeah, bless. Yeah, the ball finding seems to be one of the most popular ones for especially for people who don't play VR.
Yeah,
Just searching
and
for balls is fun. Uh
he was loving flying around. I was impressed. His VR legs are so strong.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um any other games that you wanted to speak about at all?
Just some flat games. I can talk about them at the end.
Okay, at the end of the show we can get into non-VR stuff, but how was the Quest Pro then? Let's get into that. Like tell me about your experience with the Quest Pro. First of all, where did you experience it and what did you play first?
What did I hop in? Well, I just did like a demo app. Actually, the same demo app I used, it's just an app my friend developed. The HoloLens, and I've used it on the Magic Leap 2.
Okay.
Um, it's pretty cool. All right. It felt nice. I didn't wear it for that long. I only wore it like 15 to 20 minutes probably.
Hmm.
But it felt nice. I didn't like how far away and like just how much openness there is.
Hmm.
I felt like the AR, like the mixed reality, isn't that great.
Hmm.
And it gets like there's like ghosting when you get close. So it's not really even like I felt like that
Like if you get
useful.
close, it starts to go transparent kind of thing.
Yeah, or like I would see like a ghosting effect of my
Oh,
hands and like couldn't
huh.
use,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't that accurate when you got close. And then the fact that you can't see screens. Um,
Yeah, because
but
it's just not clear enough, is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
but the lens, like it looked clear, and I did feel like the hand tracking. Like I was pretty much getting through everything with the hand tracking. The hand
Hmm.
tracking worked very well, and you could like cross your fingers like this, and it would keep
Yeah.
tracking. I haven't used it much on the Quest 2, so it's possible that all that's possible,
Oh, that's possible in
doable
Quest 2
there.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Uh, but it did feel and look cool. The color pass through is pretty cool. It doesn't look that great, but it
Yeah.
looks cool.
If when I did the color pass-through for the first time, I was like, oh, it's color, but then you start to realize that it's still grainy and
Yeah,
such,
it's
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially it don't know what it is. It doesn't know what it wants to be. That's how I
Yeah.
felt about it.
Yeah.
And ultimately I feel like it's just an overpriced Quest 2.
Yeah. I can see what you mean by that. How was the controllers for
It
you?
has some nice perks. Oh, I did like the controllers a lot. I love how heavy they are.
Yeah, I agree. It was the weight for
Yeah.
me is the thing. It's just more the weight than anything. I
And
feel
I
like
played
adding lead
Walkabout,
weights.
and I put the controller behind my back, and you could just still see it doing
Yeah.
all the moving. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you have any tracking issues or was it okay? I guess you were only in there for 20 minutes, but
yeah,
yeah.
there were no issues. They did have to update for a very long time.
Mm, mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
And the charging dock, that I really like that. The thing's got to flip up, man. That thing, like the fact that it doesn't flip up, also really annoying. There
Oh,
are just things
just
about
to
the
like
like,
flip up, flip down
yeah,
so you can
yeah, yeah, yeah.
quickly.
Like the fact that it's so far away from you, it just It feels like the HoloLens does that, right? And it just feels natural. It feels like it should do that when it's
Yeah,
that far away from your eyes,
yeah,
in my view. And if you want to be a workstation device, you just need to be able to, like, the pass-through's not that great enough that you need to be able to see your real world, I feel.
uh-huh,
And you need to be able to see your screens.
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree with you as well. Like it's very Gen 1.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very, very, very Gen 1 for a company, and it kind of makes sense. I like what you mean, actually. I never thought about that. The flip up, flip down is actually a great idea. Just to flip up the screen and flip down. I don't think the Lynx AR headset does that, but it feels like it would. I don't know if it actually does that because it just
Something
feels.
out there does it. I've seen it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I forget what
I
it
might
is.
do that, but yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So you're not running out there and you're getting it, nothing like that.
No.
Roger that. Roger that. But I'm glad you had fun. Obviously it felt very premium, right, when you first held it and such.
Yeah, it feels nice. It
Mhm.
looks nice. The lenses are nice. The weight's great. The charging thing's great. I had a pretty good experience with hand tracking.
Yeah,
I just wasn't that impressed with using it as a mixed reality device,
yeah, 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 yeah. Think you're right.
especially for work.
I think it has some what was it called when you're like identity issues or something?
Yeah. And my friend didn't have the VR, the thing you
Yeah,
gotta
the
buy or whatever, so I didn't try that.
did you try the ones that come in the box to block the sides?
No, I
Or
don't think he had those on either.
okay, yeah, yeah, that's
Because
fine.
I don't think it'll fit on the charging dock with those, from
No,
what I've
no,
read.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. No, which is a real shame. Yeah, no, it's funny you've only played it for like 15, 20 minutes and a lot of those points are very valid to this day. The only thing I
I
would
mean,
say,
I've heard about it, I've seen a lot
yeah,
about it, but
the only thing I would say is that the openness of the design, I felt like that originally as well, but then as I got used to it, I realized that actually I prefer this way for playing social VR. So
yeah, I
I don't
don't
know.
play
I might
anything
be.
social anymore.
I just might be. You know. I just might be.
It was throwing me off when I was like trying to fly around and walk about,
Mhm.
and while flying around, I was walking around, and I was like, "Ooh, this feels uncomfortable. This
Yeah.
feels uncomfortable."
Yeah. I mean, I got motion sickness immediately when I play. I was trying to play it because of the floor. Amazing, amazing, awesome. In terms of me for VR, I haven't played it. I just haven't been so busy this week, so I haven't got round to playing anything. But the show is sponsored. This is show is sponsored.
This
Um,
is shall I read
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
it? This week's sponsorship, Mixture by Played with Fire. In this story-driven action-adventure, an exiled knight in search of redemption, third-person controlled, reluctantly strikes a pact with a power-hungry alchemist who can twist the properties of elemental matter, hand-controlled. Together, they form a force to be reckoned with. Yet a new threat appears, one that will challenge their alliance. This title features two characters, each with unique controls and abilities, challenging platforming, collectibles, power-ups, numerous boss fights, and a long campaign. Mixture is scheduled for release in late February for MetaQuest 2.
There we go.
Looks pretty cool.
You said that so eloquently. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah.
You sounded very radio-like, and I hope that
Well, that
everyone
was a
listening to
sponsorship.
this, that was well done. That was well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, this never heard of this game until I got an email about the sponsorship today. To be honest, I haven't played it yet. Hoping to play it in time for next week's podcast. But it does look pretty good. Maybe not my cup of tea, you
I
know.
like a good platformer, so
Yeah,
speaking of, there's a 2D platformer I've been playing, so that's what I'm.
we'll talk about that later. This is something that you would probably, is this something up your alley then with the platformer and the
I mean,
fantasy?
I'd try it for sure. It's kind of dark.
Is
Normally
it
I like a happier go lucky,
a
but
moss,
yeah.
essentially? Yeah, fair enough. But thank you, Played with Fire for sponsoring today's show. So let's go into our one of our main topics of the show, and that's obviously the PSVR 2. We're in launch week. As you're listening to this, the PlayStation VR 2 has been released worldwide. wherever it is being released. The initial reviews came out, a bunch of content creators and news outlets and journalists and such got it early. I think they got it a week or two early. And they got to play it with Horizon, I believe. I don't think there was any other game that they could try with it, but they got to play with the Horizon. And I just wanted to go through some of the initial reviews because they've been quite positive, like quite positive. So let me read out a couple and we'll kind of talk about them. So Upload VR said Sony clearly learned its lessons from the original PSVR, and the PlayStation VR 2 feels like a major step for console VR, bridging the gap for those who want high-end features and a package that's easier to manage than a PC VR setup.
Should we popcorn around?
Sorry?
Should we popcorn back and forth here?
Yeah, you go for the next one. Yeah, you go for it.
The road to VR. The complete package is not just a huge step up over the original PSVR, but it easily stands among the most capable VR headsets currently available.
We have IGN saying, with top-notch visual quality and immersively tactile sense controllers, PlayStation VR 2 represents a quantum leap over its predecessor, setting a new standard for console VR gaming.
Console VR gaming, nice. GameSpot. I think it's a new standard for PC gaming too. GameSpot. PlayStation's second VR headset is powerful and elegant, but Horizon Call of the Mountain is doing all the heavy lifting when it comes to games.
Games Radar says price may seem high for a console accessory. It justifies itself so much more than that, with features that even the best VR headsets on the market struggle to pack in.
And then Gaming Trend. The screens on the PSVR 2 are absolutely magnificent. The clarity is frankly above what I have with an HMD that costs over $1,300, and with a refresh rate to match.
Yeah, and that is just a few. Obviously, there's so many more outlets, and I recommend if you want to read like a lot of the reviews, go just type in on Google Metacritic PlayStation VR 2, and it kind of collects all the reviews.
Curates them all for you, yeah.
In fact, I never did that until the last one. I was like, oh, they're all in one place. I should just do that instead of keep going on all these different websites. But very positive reviews. And is the interesting thing for me is that normally when hardware releases, it normally reviews average, like 6 out of 10s and such. For example, the PlayStation 5 was reviewed 6 out of 10. The Meta Quest 2 Pro reviewed poorly and such like that. They normally have like average to poor just because normally the launch light up and things are fresh, right? You need to review it again after 2 years or a year after it's started to adapt in the market a little bit and matured. But good reviews all around. Does this surprise you at all, or pretty much what you expected and on the hype?
This does not surprise me. However, pretty much the only negative thing is the price. I've seen people like, this is too expensive.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much the only negative I could think of. In fact, the few people I know with PS5s, I'm pretty certain they're not going to get this, and I don't even know how to sell it to them because it is so expensive. Like, yeah. I don't know how to convince them to.
I mean, I just like I said with my friend, he had the PS5 and he wanted to get. He said to me the first message he sent to me on Instagram was, "I want the best VR headset for gaming," and straight away I was like, "Get the PSVR," but the price was just like.
Well, then he changed his mind. He wanted one for developing,
and then he added that little nugget in there, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "That's the best," but you're paying top dollar. I
mean, I started looking at digital PS5s. I was like, no, not yet. I don't have enough saved up for that yet. But yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
I think if you're not in the PlayStation ecosystem already, this is a hard sell because it's hard. But it's like PC VR, right? One of the things I picked up in the reviews, and it kind of said it in a couple of those quotes that we read out, that it was nice that it's so easy. It's like the easy version of a PC VR setup, where it is
just boots right in.
Boots right in. You don't have to worry about if you have the graphics card. It's kind of like the console to PC competition anyway. But on the headset side of things, it is just plug and play, right? It is like having a Quest 2 for your PC VR, where it is just plug and play or wireless on the Quest 2 front if you want to. It's not like, you get the Valve Index, for example, and then sure, you have to plug it in. That's the easy part. And then you've got to make sure the base stations are set up properly.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Such. Like there's much more,
I forget, can you play flat games inside of this?
Yes, so you can play
like a big screen.
Yeah, so you can play it in cinematic mode. I believe it's limited to 1080p though. But you can play in cinematic mode. And one of the nice things is that you don't have to need the TV on or anything like that. You can you do it with the initial setup.
So you can play in the dark.
Well, probably not in the dark, but you can play.
You could play a flat screen game. You wouldn't need tracking, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So you can play in a dark room with no TV on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The thing I did an R about buying a digital PlayStation for my bedroom. I already have one in the living room, but I was like, well, I have a digital PlayStation in my bedroom.
You're gonna buy a whole new PS5?
I did and ah it, and then I realized that's a stupid decision. But I did and ah it because it was so easy, No, I won't buy a whole PlayStation 5. It's just the thing is for me, it's only because I live with other people. I live with roommates, I live with, two other people. So my time playing the PlayStation VR would be so much more limited than the Quest because I can just play it in my bedroom and such, right? But at the same time, I think
we get a really, really long USB so you can play it.
Just go all the way. I mean, it is 14 feet long. Like it is long. It is a very long cable, right? So
it's 14 feet, the one that comes with it?
Yeah, you can't detach it as such like that. Like cables, unless it's 14 meters, and I just got the units wrong.
14 meters would be even longer.
That's true. It's 14 feet. I think it's 14 feet. You can find that out, but. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to mention with these reviews, I was already hyped.
It's 15 feet long, yeah.
15 feet long. I had an issue though. I had Amazon saying that it was going to get delivered by March 2nd or something like that, and I was like, no. So I canceled that straight away and managed.
You canceled your order?
Yeah, I canceled it straight away and managed to get on Best Buy. Still had some available. Right now, as I look, you can't really pre-order it now, but I feel like they'll be in the shops. I don't think they're going to be so sold out. But yeah, and I was always worried because it's now the 20th of Feb on recording, and I see people tweeting, "Oh, I've got the PSVR 2 on its way," blah blah blah. And I'm like, no one's taken any payment out, but I realized today it's a public holiday, so I feel like tomorrow payment will come out and I'll be okay. And I should have taken the day off. I don't know why I didn't. I never thought about it. I'm not one to take a day off for gaming, but I feel like for hardware it would have been fun. But never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. But I'm very excited. I actually recorded. I don't know if it will be out by the time. It should be out by the time people listen to this podcast. But the tier list. Kind of what's it called? Tier Master on website that you can like rank.
Yeah, well, I assume it's like the base of what everybody puts their tiers on.
Yeah. So I created a tier. Gamertag VR actually did one 3 weeks ago for the PlayStation VR launch window games, and it looked fun. So I was like, okay, let me do it for launch day, and I recorded it this morning. It ended up being 1 hour long, and I was like, oh gosh, I gotta try and cut this down. It's like a whole podcast in itself. But it's like 35, and I missed games too. There was 37 launch games, but I did 35, and I put them into tiers of
part two.
I need a part two. I had broken it down, but I put it into must buy, tier 1, curious, wait for a sale, or just pass. And I'm very happy with what I came up with. In fact, on the video version, I'll put a picture of what the tier list ended up to be. And for those listening, you can definitely just check out the video version or check out our Discord. I'll put it out on Discord. Or you can just check out the YouTube video. But I'm very happy of how I've structured it, and I was like, must buy makes sense. Out. tier one makes sense, you know. So yeah, I was very
It
happy with how
worked out.
yeah, it worked
Yeah.
out. It worked out. In fact, for the people listening, I might as well just say what was in the two top tiers. So in must buy, I put Horizon, Call of the Mountain, Pistol Whip, Kayak VR Mirage, and The Last Clockwinder. And reason being, Horizon is the like flagship game. Pistol
Hmm.
Whip is probably going to be the best rhythm game at the moment because you can use the guns. But I did say
Hmm.
in the video that you could swap Pistol Whip with SynthRiders depending on what kind of rhythm game you want, because either
Hmm.
one is top tier. Kayak VR is perfect for showcasing VR to newbies, because it's going to have the beautiful visuals and it's very easy to pick up. And then Last Clockwinder is the best puzzle game that you can buy on PlayStation at the moment,
Hmm.
as well. So it kind
One
of
of
hits,
each.
yeah, it hits
Yeah.
each. And then in tier one, I would just say are the best of the rest that you could buy at any time. And that's where I put Resident Evil Village. Okay. So obviously if you're not into horror, you'll pass on
Yeah.
that. Gran Turismo 7. If you're not into racing, you'd probably pass on that. Zenith. If you're not into MMOs, you'll pass on that.
Yeah.
After the Fall, if you're not into co-op multiplayers,
Hmm.
you'll pass on that. Demio, if you're not into tabletop, you'll pass on that. Moss Book 1, Moss Book 2. Only reason why being that if you come from VR, you've probably played at
Uh,
least the first
those are
one.
gonna look good too.
Yeah, Moss, especially 2 for sure. And then SynthRiders is in there, where I said SynthRiders and Pistol Whip could be swapped. And I feel like that's your must buy in tier one. And then you can see the rest on the podcast image or on the Discord or on the YouTube channel. But I feel like those two lists right there on day one, that's a solid lineup. That's a
Yeah.
really
I mean, they definitely they have the beef, so to say.
they had the
You
beef.
know, they've got a good base there.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
they do need some more.
They do some more.
I'd be most excited for No Man's Sky. I honestly,
Yeah, that's
that's
not
what I would
launch
be
day,
most
but
excited.
I think that's coming in
Well,
March.
later on, I
That's coming
gotcha.
in March. Yeah, it's coming in March. I've never played No Man's Sky, but I've heard so many good things about the VR version, and I know you mentioned it last a couple of weeks ago on this
Yeah, I
show.
just feel
So
like even just flying around
just
and
flying around and
it's fun.
cruising around.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up because it is cheap too. It is like a cheap game to buy.
it's
Um,
on sale right now on Steam, but this doesn't help the PSVR
it
people.
was on sale on PS as well recently too. So I'll definitely think I will check it out. But yeah, anyway, super excited. That will do for part one. Just to mention before we jump into the next segment, next week obviously I'll have my thoughts on the PlayStation VR because I'll have it. But the week after, we're gonna have PJ, friend of the show from VR Verdict, come on the show, to talk VR because he'll have it as well, and then we can talk about it in more detail. But that will do for part one. For part two, we'll jump into the VR news.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
Okay, welcome back to part two. We're going to jump into the VR news now, and I want to start with a very quick one. The Quest 2 finally gets support for shared space local multiplayer, and what this means is, say you're playing Demio in one room, there's multiple headsets, you can all play on the same board. If it was like the AR version of Demio, the mixed reality version, and
Mm-hmm.
such. Not supported by Demio yet. That was just an example of how it works. But that's more for probably the Quest Pro and such, or like collaborating on products. I just want to mention it because, Samson, is any games that you would say would thrive on this? Probably the board games like Demio, right?
Yeah, for sure. Don't really know. Some tech demo type of games work with it, like shoot them.
Maybe your Tilt 5 kind of games, right? When if but any of
Yeah,
those.
Catan, maybe. Yeah.
Hmm hmm I'm wondering if they
Chess.
bring like AR boxing. I feel like that's a bad idea.
Yeah, right.
That's a bad idea. But cool feature nonetheless. Cool feature nonetheless. Very Tilt 5 kind of vibes. Standalone, which will be cool. I could see something like Figment XR being something like a hit. Like say you could work together to make a play space, but you can both see what you're making.
Puzzles would be cool.
Yeah, like puzzling places.
But yeah, I feel like if I was with somebody in my same space, I would just do a real puzzle.
That is true. That's true. But puzzling places could be fun, doing like a fun 3D, and then you go off and do one part of it. I do a one part of it, and you do.
Listen, yeah, it could be fun. Like I said, this just doesn't, I can't think of really good ways to utilize this feature
Yeah, well, you
yet.
could just do the real life.
Outside of like Space Pirate Trainer, which you could already do.
You could already do that one. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Let's go to SynthRiders. Probably one of your
Woo.
favorite games, Samson, that you spoke about. There's a Gorillaz music pack, which I'm absolutely buzzing for. Launching on Quest for as this podcast is going live on the 23rd. It's a 7 song pack. I believe it's 10.99 if you want to buy the full pack.
It's all the hits. It's all
Yeah,
the hits.
so we have, in fact, you tell me, what songs do we have on the
Oh,
group?
we have 7 songs, and they're all jams. Feel Good Inc., Clint Eastwood, New Gold, Dare, On Melancholy Hill, Cracker Island, Sleeping Powder.
I am
My
buzzing.
Clint Eastwood, first music video I ever downloaded illegally in my life. And On Melancholy Hill, probably my favorite Gorillaz song.
Oh, that's your favorite Gorillaz song.
Probably so.
Interesting. I would say my favorite Gorillaz song might be. I mean, I love Feel Good a lot, but I think Dare. I think Dare's my favorite.
The
You
good
know.
ones. Good ones.
Either way, like
I'm impressed with them getting Gorillaz, honestly.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
they're getting there. They're getting
I
Beat
think
Saber.
they've coming out with a new album, if not came out with a new album recently and about to tour. I think I saw like a billboard the other day.
Gotcha.
So I feel like this is perfect timing for them as well. You know what I'm super excited about? As you know, for SynthRiders, for people who have not played SynthRiders before, one of these songs you're gonna be in a music video in a way. Like an experience. It's hard for me to describe.
Did they show clips of the experience yet? I
I didn't
don't
see it.
actually want spoilers, so never mind.
I didn't see it, but I'm assuming it'll be Feel Good. I assuming because that's their number one hit, popularity wise.
Makes
So I'm
sense.
assuming it'll be Feel Good. Honestly, I wish they did the experience for all 70 songs because I think it'll be wicked, to be honest.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for this. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into SynthRiders for Gorillaz. I actually didn't play the last music pack at all. Um,
And
yeah.
they just finished their tour. What a shame.
Oh, they just finished?
It was in 2022.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Yeah, that's sad. They'll be back. They'll be back. I'm wondering if they will have the characters in there. That'd be cool, but I'm not sure if they'll go that in depth.
Yeah,
At
who
least the
knows?
outlines as such. But yeah, this could be the best music pack so far. And this is why on the last section in part one, when we were talking about the tier list, why SynthRiders could be in your must buy instead of Pistol Whip, because the music in SynthRiders, I would say, is hands down maybe the best in all of the rhythm games. You could
Yeah.
argue Beat Saber as well,
This
but
one's got good music though.
yeah, yeah. Pistol Whip does, but like I feel like SynthRiders is a step ahead.
SynthRiders got a bit more mainstream now,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh, also, this is not for Quest owners, but for PSVR 2 owners, if you're gonna get SynthRiders, the Lindsay Sterling pack DLC, which is the violinist. Yeah, right.
Good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
It's free. If you buy SynthRiders between the launch to 22nd of March. So
It's a
that's
pretty good deal.
very good deal. Yeah, that's a great DLC. That's a great DLC. Amazing. Hyped. Let's move on. That's Gorillaz. Let's move on to the next next one. The next you
So
story is quite funny. Vermillion, the painting app, the art painting app, which is also available in mixed reality, has released a beta for an overlay mode, which allows you to put Vermillion into all these different Steam VR apps. So it's only available on PC, and you need a beefy PC for it to work.
to overlay
But
it, yeah.
the example of it is someone's playing Half-Life Alyx and they've overlaid Vermillion into Half-Life Alyx and
Yeah,
they're
they're
like
just painting in
painting
that world.
in
Yeah.
in that world. What a mad feature. Like
It is pretty
amazing
wild. It's basically makes the index like a mixed reality device.
in a
You know.
way. Yeah, in a way for the overlays, just without the AR stuff. So the all your core tools are available to you. So I believe all your paintbrushes are available and the paints and such. So you can literally go into any game and load Vermilion and start painting, which is
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think the way this got going too is Vermilion Dev tweeted out like, "I'd like to be able to do this," and people replied. They were like, "You use this," and within seven
oh
days,
wow.
he had a working prototype.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. The community coming together here. My question to you, Samson, is what would you paint in VR? What app
Uh,
would you go in and paint?
this doesn't have much utility to me. Super cool, but yeah, why? Why? I mean, if I had to pick any world, I don't know. I guess I'd be painting in Asgard's Wrath or something like this. I don't know.
I would be in Medal of Honor Above and Beyond on the beaches of Omaha beaches
It
on
would be,
D-Day and just like painting the
uh,
picture of them storming the beaches. As I'm probably getting shot at because I'm a character in there too.
I might fly a plane in flight sim while it's
Yeah,
painting in the
that's a good
cockpit.
idea.
That's kind of funny. That's a funny way.
That's a good idea. Just as you're like cruising and
Yeah,
you're just starting to paint. That's actually great. Okay, that's Vermilion. Uh
moving
let's
it
move
along.
let's move on to the next one. And I wanted to mention this because I don't think did we mention it? Yes. No, we didn't
I don't
mention it.
believe we did.
We didn't mention it last week. So
Like a shadow drop.
there's a new game called Gun Jam, which launched on Quest as the podcast came out last week, and we didn't put it on the games out this week because it wasn't really we had no idea that it was coming out. But it's a rhythm shooter. It's 14.99. It's very similar to Pistol Whip, but instead of Pistol Whip, has you
Less
going
moving.
forward, you're just standing. You're just standing. There's no movement to it. And it has a variety of songs from EDM, electronic dance music, to metal, which is a rarity. You know, the start metal or rock is starting to creep into a few rhythm games, but still much of a rarity. Um, any any desire for this? It's an
It
interesting
looks
one.
cool. I saw some footage for sure.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm still not trying to buy new
that's
games
true.
really. So
That's,
especially like,
that's true.
but yeah, it's cool, and I do love me some rhythm game.
You do,
So
yeah.
maybe eventually I try it.
Things for me is it just depends on the music. It just depends on the music. And do I particularly want another shooting rhythm game? Could there be like a different rhythm game? I don't know. You know? I
I
don't know.
do really like Audica. I haven't hopped in Audica in a long time. It's a very
I've never tried it.
challenging one.
I've
It's
never
very
tried it,
challenging.
but I've heard it's very good. Yeah, I've heard it's very good. Um, let's move on to the second last news story. And the a few weeks ago, or a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Echo VR being shut down and everyone going uproar. We have another game. We have Nerf Ultimate Championship. Will be shutting down in August 31st, this year. It's an interesting one because I swear this came out last year in
It
August.
did.
So a year span. Reason being, let me read out the quote. Today we have some let me start that again. Quote, today we have some important but hard news to announce to the community on the future of Nerf Ultimate Championship. With a heavy heart, the decision has been made to wind down support for the game and any future content. The choice to do so does not come lightly, but with the recent changes at our parent company's secret location, we'll be shutting down as a studio and we will no longer have resources to continue supporting the game. So it's a shame. It seems like it might not be to do with the player base as much, but
I mean, it probably has to do with the player base and the company shutting down.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm sure they would have sold it off or something if it was
if the player base was very high.
Off.
That's true. I remember.
Should we all buy it before March so we and hop in? Should we do that?
I don't know if that's a good financial investment.
It's not a good financial investment, but otherwise, there's no way it's dead. You'd never ever be able to do this again.
That's true, but I feel like if I wanted to play this, I would have played it already. I would have played it already. It's a shame because lots of people. Well, I don't know how many people have been in there, but people who have, there's the skins, the season pass maps and such that they've bought, all gone. All gone. And it's a little different to Echo VR. With Echo VR, I didn't have much sympathy because I was like, it's been around for a while. This happens all the time in gaming, let alone VR gaming. And, it's an online game. That's just how it is. But to be shut down or announced to be shut down less than a year that it actually came out is a bit soon,
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel...
Unless it's not been doing
there's a 2D game, yeah. There's it like Rumbleverse or whatever. It seems to be shutting down within a year, I think. Flat grain game. Online only. Yeah, it's just like a risk you take. But really, I think this one is predominantly because of the studio shutting down.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Though I do think if it was worth an asset, they would have sold it. So yeah.
That's true. I remember maybe the license for Nerf was way too much or something and it just didn't justify it. But I remember Hello Real, the accessory maker, did like a Nerf gun for the controller, which was fun. I think Techman had that. I think he showed that off.
Yeah, they got a bunch of them. Yeah, if I remember.
When he was on our podcast last year, he showed it off on the podcast, didn't he? Which is cool. But yeah, another game bites the dust, unfortunately. Another online game. A game that probably won't be biting the dust anytime soon. Walkabout Mini Golf. Just a quick one to mention. They have confirmed that it's coming to PSVR 2. I just want to mention this just because I feel like last week I said that they haven't announced it, and then they did it as soon as we've stopped recording.
It's gonna look beautiful.
Yeah, it's gonna look beautiful, and it's cross-play with all systems. I'm excited personally. I will be buying it just because it's cross-play, so then I can have like my roommates, we can play golf together or something like that. Which would be nice because I don't have like a second Quest or anything like that.
I wonder how long it'll take.
Yeah, I have no idea. I wonder if they compare it with a big release, or is that just too much? I don't know. I don't think it's going to take long. I feel like they'd want it sooner rather than later. But yeah, that's everything. That's the news. That's everything for part 2. And part 3, we'll be talking about the games out this week and anything else. And we do have a few this time, so we'll see you then. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube, Spotify, and even Apple Podcasts. And if you really like us and you want to throw us $1, join us on patreon.com/letstalkoculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part 3, games out this week and anything else. Samson, you want to start off with the first one? Even though we kind of spoke about it, our sponsor of the show.
You want me to reread it? Yeah.
Is this the same thing? No,
it's slightly different.
It's different. Yeah.
All right, Mixture coming out February 23rd. Mixture is a fantasy action adventure in which 2 enemies in an alliance of necessity traverse barren worlds in a quest for redemption. In this dual character control game, you alternate between playing as the master alchemist Sepharos and exiled knight Sola in both first and third person perspectives. As an odd couple, you must platform, mix materials, cast and melee, solve puzzles, and defeat giant bosses to survive this atmospheric tale. So it's like a self co-op game.
Mm-hmm. It's a single player game. I'm excited to try it. I'm excited to try it and talk about it next week for sure. For sure. All right, next one is Papaya Bang Bang VR coming out also on the 23rd as you're listening to this. Papaya rather, Bang Bang VR, PBB VR is what they want you to shorten it to. Is a first-person shooter with
Rolls off the tongue.
yeah, with a first-person shooter with slingshots and special ammo in versus mode. Team up with up to 2 friends against other players. Their flashy, colorful 3D maps and the set of wacky characters to imitate are inspired by America from north to south. Kayas, the ammo, is diverse. That doesn't make any sense. Is diverse and has many effects. Players can choose which Kayas they want to use in the battlegrounds. Is Kayas like a certain type of papaya or something like that?
I don't. Caius is the ammo. It's whatever you're shooting. I don't know.
Roger that.
I don't know what it is really.
PBBVR, I call it PB and J VR, allows the player to use the analog stick to slide their character along predefined tracks. There are multiple tracks that the player can use to jump around the map and attack opponents where they least expect them. Hunt down your opponents in a variety of maps, and you may become the target if you earn the most points. Create your combos, unlock characters, and outfits. And just a few facts about this. Real-time, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, first-person shooter. 10 playable characters. There are 20 Kayas, whatever that is, and 30
It's the ammo.
Just 20 versions of the ammo, I guess. 30 colored maps. 30 colored maps. No black and white ones, unfortunately.
Well, there might be more black and white ones. You never know.
You never know. Yeah. This looks like just a slingshot game.
It looks like a wave shooter, but I don't understand how it's 3v3 or multiplayer, really.
Maybe you can shoot against each other or something. It's, I don't know. It's definitely a game that I don't want to play. I don't know if that's harsh, but it's just not for me. It's just not for me. It just looks like it looks like a mobile game.
The graphics look kind of cool. It does look that's what I'm curious about, this multiplayer aspect here.
Yeah.
Also, I'm curious on the price, as that's also unlisted.
Yeah. I don't know. $20 seems like the standard rate.
You think it's $20? There's no way this is $20.
No, like a 10, 15? 10, 15?
I would guess 15.
Okay. Okay, fair. I would say $20 is definitely the max of what it would be.
Moving right along. I'll read the last one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's not well, yeah, I don't know that it necessarily needs multiplayer. It says internet connection required now, but other games need that too that don't.
Yeah.
The Light Brigade coming out February 22nd. The world remains in eternal darkness, and only you can bring the dawn. Enlist in the ranks of the Light Brigade, humanity's last line of defense. Journey through procedurally generated battlegrounds as many times as it takes to free the souls of the fallen in this challenging roguelike shooter. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's basically an in-death type of game with World War II guns.
And magic.
And magic, yeah, they get magic thrown on them. Also, so the cabin game. I feel like the clips I saw of the game I thought I was thinking of was not the cabin, but I could be wrong. But
the cabin Drop Dead or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it did look more fun than I thought than I initially. But you need somebody to play with anyway. Yeah, Light Brigade looks pretty sweet too, but it's just not multiplayer.
Quick thing on Light Brigade. We obviously spoke about it last week, but those reviews came out and they're very positive. 6 Degrees of Freedom gave it a 9 out of 10.
I did love it.
Did really, really love it. Yeah. In the tier list PlayStation VR, I put it as curious. But also it comes out on the 22nd, which is weird because Quest always has things on Thursday, but it wants to do it at the same time as PSVR, so it's coming out on the 22nd. How interesting. Unless that was just a typo. I don't know. But yeah, I'm very curious about this. I never thought it was going to be one, but I was very curious. World War II weapons. Love me some World War II weapons. Perfect.
That's
That's all
pretty
the
cool.
games out this week. Samson, did you have any non-VR things you wanted to throw in?
Yeah. So I got Sackboy, which
Like
is
PlayStation Sackboy?
yeah, but it came out on PC and it
Oh,
went on
sick.
sale. And yeah, super fun. But it's multiplayer. I need to play it with more people, but you can't play single player.
Sackboy: A Big Adventure is that what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that's it.
Oh, cool. I never knew this existed. I remember playing some Little Big Planet back in the day, but I didn't know this ever existed.
It's pretty cute. It's pretty good music, pretty good, cool, atmospheric. And
Wow.
yeah, other than that, Tetris and Pokemon Ruby still.
Tetris and Pokemon, nice, nice. Yeah, Sackboy. I feel like they've got to put out in PlayStation VR maybe a Sackboy platformer would be pretty
I mean, they
cool.
got Astrobot,
They do on the PSVR one, not the two.
but I mean, they got the IP. They
That's
could
true.
do it
They
on
should.
there.
They need to put out another Astrobot because that platformer was excellent. That's not on PC. That's not on Steam at all, right? They never bought it. They never. That's locked on PC, PSVR, right?
Yeah,
Astrobot.
yeah, yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
it's a shame because that platform is fantastic. It's so good. Um, so yeah, fair enough. Did I play any non-VR stuff? I did play a bit of more Dead Space on last Wednesday, I think. Still, I feel like if I sat down and did a whole weekend, I'd complete that game because it's only like 12 hours long. But I think I'm only on the 6 hour now. I'm just like really taking my time through the game. Um,
Mm.
and like, yeah, I would. It's quite dense. Like once you complete like a big section, you realize it's only been 25 minutes or something. But you're like, I'm okay, I'm good. That was,
Yeah,
that was a
as a
good
solid,
amount.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna save it and I'll come back to it another time. So it's kind of like that. So God knows if I'll play more of it during this PlayStation VR launch, but we'll see. And that's it. I think anyone who's still listening to this podcast, you're probably the
Mhm.
diehard fans. Uh, Actually, I was gonna say we're watching Step Brothers in big screen on Wednesday, but the podcast comes out on Thursday, so ignore that. But if you do ever want to watch any big screen stuff or playing in VR, definitely join our Discord for more fun activities.
Do
But
it.
that's pretty much it. Do you have a good Super Bowl, by the way, Samson? You have a good Super Bowl weekend?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Didn't do much.
no. I just
Yeah.
had it at home, but we made lots of food. Tots, lots of loaded tots and loaded nachos. And
Nice,
oh
nice,
yeah,
nice.
had a good
The
time.
munchies.
The munchies, even though that was the week before, for some reason, I just looking on my script and Super Bowl is just underneath. So I was like, my list of what to buy,
I gotcha.
hot dogs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I'm gonna
All
go
right.
and watch The Last of Us now. But thanks everyone for watching and listening. We'll talk to you next week. Happy PSVR 2 for those who will get it.
Yeah,
And
nice. This is my sign off. Nice.
see you later, everyone.